everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Amy, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're a subscriber, things are coming back. I know I've been an awful YouTuber in the fact that I haven't been uploading like at all besides my latest update video, but I have something fun that I've been busy preparing and filming after all of my working hours. So if you've already seen the thumbnail and the title, you'll know that we're talking about that Brandy Melville Cara skirt, you know, the one with the 2 slits. Now, a little backstory. I was completely obsessed with this skirt over the summer, and I wanted it. I just wanted it. But I was always afraid of the Brandy Melville one-size-fits-all model. The fact that, you know, skirts have never fit me correctly. They either fit my waist, but they're too tight around the hips, or I'll bend down and everyone will just see everything. I hated that. That's why I avoided skirts for most of my adolescence, most of my teenage years, and definitely during college because I had to walk a lot. That, and I also hesitate from buying a lot of more what I kind of consider fast fashion brands. I do prefer making my own stuff, and I prefer knowing that, you know, I put effort into it, and it's a learning opportunity. I've never sewn anything besides like pillowcases or masks before this skirt, and I think that I did a pretty good job. So why now? Why now that it's in the middle of fall, it's getting cold and it's almost Thanksgiving? It's because YouTube decided to recommend me a bunch of how to sew a skirt tutorial and how to sew the Brandy Melville skirt tutorial, and I found one that was really detailed, and I thought that why not just try it? And I'll actually link her video up somewhere around here to give her complete credit. She deserves the whole credit on how she made this and instructed me how to draft the patterns. And throughout the video, I'll also kind of link tutorials that I've used along the way, because I didn't just use her tutorial. I had to learn how to sew a zipper on. I had to learn how to put the slits in because I actually didn't do it right the first time, and other things like that. Just kind of shows you that, you know, when you're learning something by yourself, it's not just a one-size-fits-all. You have to do the search to find things. But enough of me rambling. Let's just get started. Okay, so I have finished planning out my skirt pattern with all of my measurements, and these I did off camera. But as you can see here, I started with the inches as Ginger started off. Ginger had inches in her pattern, but I think it's just my brain and hating inches. Oh, I actually just converted them to centimeters and calculated the dimensions from there. Ginger's pattern had percentages for all of the ratios and multiplications, so it actually translates really well. Just know how to calculate multiply with percentages, and you are good to go. And I did cross-check my values and converted them, and it should be all fine. These are my front pieces, and this is my back piece. And she didn't have the pattern for the waistband, but I did include this here. And next up is just cutting them out and drafting them. So hopefully there was a transition in there somewhere, but welcome to my floor. Now we're essentially just going to be taking all the calculations that I had made on my sketchbook and applying it to a larger pattern piece. Now, what's on the floor, you ask? I'm actually too cheap to buy actual pattern paper or whatever actual tailors and professionals use. Instead, I actually have some of last year's Sloth Christmas wrapping paper to use as my pattern paper. Now you can use taped together printer paper, newspaper, anything that's like big and you can draw on, essentially. And if it's not big enough, you can just tape it together. And I really like this one just because there's actually already a grid on here, so I don't have to worry about aligning things too much. Okay, so it took me a lot longer and a lot more work than I think was necessary to pin both my outer fabric and my lining fabric together so I can cut it. I just know that, knowing me, if I cut them separately, they would have just been different sizes and I couldn't handle that. But it took me forever to pin that. I finally got it so that I could put the pattern down and cut it out. But yeah, so here are my pattern pieces. I have them pinned to its lining fabric, and it's way too late at night right now. Everyone's asleep. So I'm not gonna finish my edges tonight. I think that's gonna be a project for tomorrow, but I'm really happy. Okay, I'm finally off of work, and what I'm gonna do is finish off the seams. Well, I don't know the actual term for it. It's essentially sewing the edges of the fabric just so that it won't fray when I eventually put them all together. And because I don't have an overlocker or a serger, because that's money, I don't have just a random $100, $150 lying around. So I'm just gonna be doing a zigzag, hopefully as close to the edge as I can. Okay, quick update. I have now sewn in my darts, and I'm pretty sure I did them wrong. I tried following a tutorial and then I had to find another tutorial, and all in all, I gave up on the pinning method. I just looked at the pattern and estimated where the darts would be and just drew a line to help guide me, because I can't use those pins as guides. I think I'm just not that good of a sewer yet. But I have sewn them in and I've pressed them, I've ironed them. So next step is to get my zipper in. And I'll check in on that too. So my needle broke. It was terrifying. Like, I'm not talking about one of those small, like, hand sewing needles. No, I'm talking like this big machine, like, sewing needle literally snapped in half because I was an idiot and I got the wrong zipper foot. So if you don't know what a zipper foot is, or have a sewing machine, they have presser foots, and I have the generic one that just presses the fabric down. But to sew on a zipper, you need a smaller zipper foot. And this said it was a Singer one, so I just assumed that it was the same everywhere on every model, and that was, you know, you'd think I have a degree, I'd know all this stuff, but no. No, I bought the wrong one. I tried jigsaw, like jigging it on anyways, and because it was crooked, if you can see it right here, right there, hopefully it'll focus. Right there is where the needle jammed into the metal and snapped. Like, I'm lucky that the thread was on the actual needle and it didn't fly towards my face. Had a near-death moment. But no, I'm too scared to use another zipper foot. So I have just decided to hand sew my zipper on. We'll see how that goes. It's gonna take me forever, but I really don't wanna go and buy another zipper foot on Amazon or have to wait for it to come. So, RIP my hands. Kind of a time skip because I forgot to record me actually sewing all of this, but I figured out how to zigzag the edges because I didn't think to actually Google how to. But so what you're supposed to do is zigzag right at the edges just so that they don't fray. I was an idiot and I zigzagged in here the first time, so I spent a good maybe hour or two finishing off the sides again. But what else I did was I did make my slits because I think the Cara skirt had these 2 side slits, but then I don't know what got into me, but I was just so focused on my 2 centimeter seam allowance that I sewed right through it. So I don't know if you can tell here, but because I sewed right through it, this slit, which is supposed to be, I think I measured it as 3 centimeters high, is now like maybe 1 centimeter and looks awful from the front. So I'm gonna have to spend this whole time seam ripping this thing again and re-sewing it. Oh my god, it's coming together! I just sewed the waistband on. Hopefully it's not going to be too short because I did add that seam allowance here. And obviously my front is longer in the front than the back because I didn't know how to stretch out my fabric correctly. And so it shrunk. But hopefully the waistband hides that a little bit. The goal here is to flip it over. I did hem a little bit so that when I sew it like here, this zigzag stitch isn't gonna hurt me, hopefully. Anyways, that is the goal, isn't it? And then because I have kind of an overlap, actually let me zip this up. Because I have a little bit of an overlap, I might make it so that I have a closure right here so that it just snaps in. That way I have some extra security. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I finally finished the waistband, if you can see here, and it looks so clean. Oh my gosh, I didn't think it would actually turn out because I was afraid it would be either wonky or it would be pulling in different directions, but it actually turned out pretty flat and even all around. And I even, I don't know where I saw it, but I even tried to purposely stitch in where I had stitched the first side of the waistband in so that you wouldn't see the stitching on the outside. And then I hand sewed a bunch of the little parts where I either didn't catch the fabric because it was on the other side, just to sew on the right side instead of the wrong side. But my camera died, so I didn't get any footage of that. But I did blanket stitch these down to just the lining and sometimes the other side, just making sure that it's where the stitches are. And then add a little snap closure because I had a few of those lying around. Took me like a week between working on it after work and late into the night, but I got it. It's kind of uneven a little bit, like down here a little, but all I have left is to hem the bottom and we have a skirt. Check back in after I hem this.
One eternity later.
Welcome back. We're back to the present. I hope you enjoyed watching my little vlog on throughout the week on how I learned how to make this. In total, it took me about, I like I said before, a week. I did them mainly after work, after 10 p.m. until 12 p.m., so roughly 2 hours a night for the first skirt, the red skirt, and then it only took me like maybe 5 hours on Sunday and then 2 hours on Saturday, so 7 hours total for the second purple skirt. I actually have it right here. I'm so proud of it. It's my baby. I learned a lot. I learned about stretching and modifying patterns to fit me, as well as measuring and how to sew this darn zipper. If you didn't notice, I sewed the zipper in by hand with the prick stitch because I didn't have the zipper foot. I like how this looks better. If I were to sew the zipper foot, you would actually see a purple stitch line running down, and I like the fact that with the prick stitch they're kind of unnoticeable to the people behind. Now I wouldn't mind if it was like a zipper on the side, but that just wasn't how this skirt was designed to be. And if you notice, I had modifications from Ginger's design as well, and the fact that my waistband is kind of bigger. Anyways, it's a clasp so that when I can just snap this together and hide the zipper seam. My aunt was kind enough to give me feedback on the skirt. The fact that I did screw up like I kind of predicted. Where the first time I sewed this, I think French slit seam completely wrong. I had to find another tutorial for that. I'll link it up here. And I actually made the back and a piece of the skirt a little bit longer than the front. And if you know anything about sewing, the front of the skirt should be longer than the back of the skirt. And I think that was due to the pattern that I had drafted. Moving forward, I'm going to redraft that pattern so it includes a little bit more curvature in the front so that I don't get this problem again. However, when you're wearing it, you don't really notice it. At least I don't notice it, and none of my family has noticed it. So if you just want to if you don't care, go ahead. A little bit of things that I kind of modified around here that you could definitely, if you're a much better sewer than I am, you can definitely do. And it's that sew down your seams. I just pressed them flat and I sewed them because I was too tired at that point and I wanted to save up on time. But yeah, all in all, highly recommend it. Highly recommend if you have the finances to try sewing as a hobby. It's kind of an expensive hobby, but I have a little bit of disposable income right now before medical school, and I think I've just gotten on this determination. I'm just gonna make all my clothes before medical school so that I just don't have to buy any more clothes. And I have a lot of time right now, so why not? If you enjoyed this video and if you enjoyed my screwing up throughout the week, please like this video. It'll help me with at least the YouTube algorithm. And if you at least like my personality and my commentaries, and I know I'm learning how to edit, so sorry for not the best quality videos. But if you like me, please subscribe. Leave a comment below on what you think I should make next. Trends I should try to make. I'd be really happy to hear some suggestions on what I should sew next. Bye.